Ralph Macchio played the lead role in the Karate Kid trilogy, beginning in the first as a teenager learning karate from Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi in order to defend himself from bullies. We also saw that as his character's understanding of karate increased, his friendship with Miyagi deepened. Macchio reprised his role for Cobra Kai and recently shared his thoughts about the return. We're going to talk about his insights regarding the character. First off, Macchio found the experience very fulfilling due to his connection to the franchise. Cobra Kai began in 2018 as a sequel to the original trilogy, which showed the characters from Karate Kid all grown up. Macchio's Daniel was reintroduced along with his childhood bully and enemy, Johnny Lawrence, played by William Zabka. The two created their own karate dojos and were teaching the next generation of fighters the essentials of karate as each of them had learned from their masters. During the course of the show, their old rivalry resurfaces, impacting others around them and bringing back foes from their pasts. While Cobra Kai concentrates on Daniel's life as an adult with his children and students, it also brings a lesser-known side of Johnny to the forefront. In the wake of the successful reboot, Macchio's career has taken a turn for the better. In an interview with Wired, he discussed how returning to this role has been a fulfilling experience for him, exploring the changes he's been through as he grew up, uncovering his flaws now, and comparing them to those he had as a teenager has taught him a lot. In addition to that, he appreciated that a new generation of kids is now enjoying the Karate Kid universe. So, bringing it back to life has basically been the best part of the entire opportunity. Following up with the changes we've seen in Daniel since the OG Karate Kid. The actor's remarks about his character's flaws shed light on his evolution over the years. In the films, he's portrayed as a victim of his bullies, making it easy to sympathize with him. But at times, he's shown to be understandably irrational and impatient as well. In the current series, he appears to have grown more patient, but his biggest flaw is his inability to let go of the past, which is evident in his attitude toward Johnny. Throughout 5 seasons, we see him struggling to stick to Mr. Miyagi's teachings. If he wants to move on from the past, he also needs to be more open to what others could teach, as well as be ready to change his point of view if it's wrong. We've learned that the 60-year-old actor has enjoyed the opportunity to reprise his role and add more depth to the character by bringing more aspects of his personality to light. The grown-up version of this character has given older fans the chance to identify with his transformations while also letting the younger audiences become fully invested in his journey in a way that's similar to that of the younger cast themselves. What's more, he never thought he'd play Daniel again. Unfortunately, the star's last cinematic appearance as Daniel LaRusso was not well received. The Karate Kid Part 3 earned a respectable $38.9 million at the box office on a $12.5 million budget, but the critics didn't take to the film, and it lost 5 Razzie Award nominations that year to Star Trek. It currently has a Rotten score of 15%, making it the lowest scored film in the entire franchise. The film followed Cobra Kai commander John Kreese as he teamed up with Terry Silver and Mike Barnes in an attempt to take Daniel down after a humiliating defeat to the latter in the second film. In a recent interview with Wired, the star answered some of the most frequently Googled questions about himself. One of these questions asked was, why did Ralph Macchio stop Karate Kid? Back then, he'd thought that it was time to part ways from the franchise, and after finishing the third film, he'd actually thought that he would never play the character ever again. Looking back to these thoughts, he advised viewers to be careful about what you think you know, as the plotline for the third installment was the basis for the 5th season of Cobra Kai. Next up, how exactly does Cobra Kai continue the Karate Kid 3 storyline? While the show's always tried to connect the plot to the original films, Season 5, which came out in September, did this to stronger effect. In addition to Terry Silver's presence on the show since Season 4, the new episodes reintroduced 2 more characters from the third film, Robin Lively as Jessica Andrews and Sean Kanan as Mike Barnes. With the addition of these old faces, the series was able to incorporate even more plot lines from the third part, recontextualizing the least appreciated project inside the larger setting of the immensely popular Cobra Kai universe. Furthermore, a potential 6th season would continue to develop these characters. characters. Given how positively the fans have responded to this combination, it's possible that the next season will incorporate more from the Karate Kid, or even elements from the 2010 reboot could be added to it at some point in the future. Moving on, Macchio revealed the qualities he hopes Daniel will have in Season 6. Now that we've reflected on features from Season 5, it's time to start looking forward to the possible Season 6 storylines. Even though Netflix has not officially confirmed a new season, both fans and the cast are optimistic as the series has fared well since its release on the streaming service. During an interview to promote his novel, Waxing On: The Karate Kid and Me, the actor talked about his surprise with Daniel's rapid character development. Back in Season 1, we saw that the child who'd been everyone's favorite in The Karate Kid had grown up to be a jerk to his old opponents. But he still had a good heart, and over the seasons, that side of him was revived, especially after he decided to create his own dojo. So, what can we expect for LaRusso's development next season? The Karate Kid clearly stated that there hadn't been any official meetings yet to decide the fate of the character in the future, but instead, he shared his insights and opinions for the potential development of his character. According to him, it took longer than he'd expected for Daniel to make his place in the show instead of just being a roadblock for Johnny, but he appreciated the difficulties his character went through as it made him grow. Seeing him lose faith in everything and be comforted by those around him made the character development set in. It prompted everyone to come together, and he hopes that they're going to do that moving forward as well. Coming up, the Season 6 delay could lead to a much-needed time jump. Fans are anxious regarding the delay of Netflix's announcement of a renewal, but some have agreed that this gap could be a good thing if it's utilized for a time jump. Season 5 focused on Daniel's efforts to jeopardize Silver's master plan to expand the Cobra Kai dojos internationally, but by the end of the season, not only had he been defeated, but all of the rivalries between the teenagers had also been resolved. It's a surprise when you realize that it's still the summer of 1999 in the Valley at the end of Season 5, showing how short the timeline has been for the 5 seasons. Therefore, a lengthier gap between the latest and the next season may be beneficial for the plot, as it could allow a much-needed time jump. The younger cast is growing out of their teenage roles, and a majority of them aren't even high school seniors yet in the show's constricted time frame. Jumping a couple of years ahead would bring these characters up to speed, while also updating the appearance, feel, paradigm of the karate opera. Finally, how could the time jump be useful for the plot and characters? The neat conclusion to Season 5 effectively wrapped up the story that began in Season 1. A time jump would provide a fresh start to the characters in a subtle reboot. The teenagers could be entering adulthood and college, with new difficulties in the form of rivalries or perhaps by resurfacing older ones. The change would be more fitting for actresses like Mary Mauser, Tanner Buchanan, and Peyton List, who've outgrown their teenage roles. In this way, the healthier conclusion of Season 5 won't be ruined either. Additionally, it would positively impact the older characters as well. If the series shoots a couple of years forward, Amanda LaRusso could ultimately learn karate, while Anthony LaRusso's skills could improve, which we see a lack of by the end of Season 5. This would guarantee his independence from others, as he's been able to protect himself. More importantly, Amanda could return from this time jump much more adept in Miyagi-Do. This would be useful after 4 seasons of observing and taunting Daniel from the sidelines. Mrs. LaRusso landed herself in a bar fight due to her involvement in her husband's efforts to stop Terry Silver. And that's all for this video, guys. What are you hoping to see in Season 6 of Cobra Kai? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.